I've said it before, but some people have it more difficult than others getting into spearfishing, getting into freediving. And the twins, they've come a long way, but they seem to have had it a little bit harder than a lot of people getting past like a 30-foot range diving. But the beautiful thing about them is they have the passion for it. And so they keep coming back. So I met them a year ago. They live in Naples and I'm in Miami, so it's like a 4-hour drive. So they can't always come. But when they do, they give it their all. Since then, both Christine and Victoria have broken past their barriers of 30 feet and have gone towards 40 to 50 feet and have really come a long way. But this was prior to that. And this is before they could even go past 30 feet. And so on this particular day, doing a little bit of spearfishing training. I was taking them out and showing them how to use a pole spear. You know, knowing that they don't really know exactly which fish to shoot, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to put a spear in their hand. So the reason why we went to this bridge was it was just rough offshore. And this bridge is a little more protected than most. So we decided to go out there, which was quite a long travel down south. They were there for the weekend. And I said, you girls are twins, you know, what are you gonna wear? And they're like, well, we've got this. You know, we're gonna wear something, you know, not matching. And I was like, you twins, you gotta have matching. So first thing I did, it said, go down to the local shop and pick a couple of bikinis out that are matching because you gotta match. You're twins, you gotta match. So I sent them on their way.
And get some bikinis, some matching bikinis because we're twins.
I know,
That's what
right?
twins do.
But what color?
We'll decide when we get there.
They actually came back with 2 really nice black bikinis that really looked great for this film. They usually stay for the weekend, and whenever they come, they bring Drift. And Drift is Kimber's favorite to come visit. We love it when he's there, and we love it when they're there too. So. Before we get geared up, we got some really cool shots. One of the reasons I love them so much, to be honest, is they make me look good. I mean, really, they are 2 good-looking girls. So we took a couple of shots and got geared up. First thing to happen is Kimber got so excited that she literally fell in. I don't know if she jumped in or she fell in, but that was pretty funny. Fish time. Kimber, what are you doing? That was so funny. Funny girl. No, you gotta go back to the boat. Oh man. That doesn't happen often, and it's kind of a fear of mine for that to happen when I'm not there, but when I am there, it's pretty funny. She's fallen in 3 times. One time I wasn't filming, but I was fighting a bonita and she fell in, and I kind of was like underway and stopped the boat. She swam back over, wasn't even phased at all. Another time, which is an old video of mine, she actually had slipped off trying to grab the weight on a sabiki rig that I was throwing right at the government cut before I even moved down here. And this was the 3rd time, so pretty funny to see her fall in the water like that. So as soon as we're in there, I dive down and there's lobsters everywhere, every nook and cranny. A bunch of lobsters down there, huh? Do you hear that noise he's making? Yeah. That brings fish in. They hear that noise and they come in.
If only we could take it.
If only we could. Look how colorful it is right here in blue.
Yeah, I saw some over there too.
I just went down there and it was like 10 of them.
Alright, well there it goes.
There it goes. Second thing I see is beautiful hogfish. There's a big hogfish right here. I told Christine to go after that fish with the pole spear. And even though I kind of gave her instructions, like I said, a pole spear is not an easy thing to get right off the bat. She loaded up, fortunately didn't load up quite enough, and didn't even scare that hogfish when she shot at it. It was pretty fun. You know, the best way to learn is by watching someone. So I would dive down, laying on the bottom, and just showing them so that they could kind of see, and then coming up and talking to them and giving them an opportunity. But I really wasn't trying to shoot anything, because when I shoot something, it means I got to go to the boat, and there's sharks there, so I got to get it out of the water. So my plan was just to like spend the day helping them. One of the first things that I did before heading out there was give them a rundown on everything they needed to know about sharks, about shooting fish, about not chasing after the fish, just kind of gliding down on them, just trying to teach them everything that I could. What you need to worry about is when you have a fish in your hand and you're holding the fish out, and a bull shark can come in and try and grab that fish. They don't want to hurt you, but they could end up biting your hand on accident, and it could be a bad situation. So we're diving, and I see this amazing starfish. I've seen a couple of these lately. They're like this big, like the biggest starfish I've ever seen. Isn't that cool? This starfish was amazing. We found one a couple of weeks ago as well, and brought it up to the girls so they could see and check it out. It's pretty cool. So we're diving around this bridge. I've got a cameraman in the water, Pablo. Appreciate the pics, Pablo. You know, I tell them, hey, we're gonna dive down and the girls are gonna follow me, so get a couple of cool shots of that. And we do, but then I come around this corner and it's just a wall of like really cool tarpon. And let us get really close. I felt like I could almost touch one, but I just love seeing tarpon. I don't know, I've caught a couple and they're just a magnificent fish to catch. Those tarpon were cool. We swam with them for a little bit. And like any fish, the more you can kind of approach them quietly and gently, the closer they're gonna let you get to them. Experience that with manta rays, with tarpon, grouper. It's a really cool thing with freediving. I think that freediving, fish let you get a little closer to the scuba. Which, by the way, we just got scuba certified. Videos coming soon. So we're out there diving, and wouldn't you know, the rain comes out of nowhere. It just starts pouring down rain. This is not that big of a deal. You can still dive in the rain, but I look over and I see one of my cameras sitting in the rod holder in the rain. I'm like, oh shit, it's raining and that camera's out. This is like a $3,000 camera. I made a beeline over to the boat, got that camera out of the rain, dried it all off, put it on the boat, and then told everybody, hey, let's go ahead and wrap it up. I mean, it's picking up bad. Now, you got to be real careful about this bridge. There's people that just fly through this bridge. You know, one of the things I told them is stay next to the columns. You know, when you're coming up from a dive, you have no idea if there's a jet ski flying through. So just go over to the edge, near a column, and come up there, because they're not going to get close to the column. And it's a good thing I told them that. Victoria was coming up from the dive where she was next to a column and trying to get this lionfish, and a jet ski just flew straight past her. Are you okay? Kind of shook me up there for a second. Fortunately, it was time to wrap it up. So I got everybody in the boat and we started taking off to home. It's a long ride back because we had went all the way south from like North Miami all the way down to Biscayne Bay area. But when we started getting closer to home, the weather just turned nice again. I said, you know, we had a couple more hours that we could dive, and there was a spot right next to the house where I know there's lobsters to see and fish to shoot, a lot of mangroves. And so I put them in the water, see if they could shoot some dinner. The sunset was just amazing. The kind of sunset that you just keep filming and filming and filming because it keeps getting better and better and better. And so on my sunset experience, you know, I was glad that I stayed on the boat. It's nothing worse than being in the water and not really being able to capture that and not shooting any fish either. You know, so it's always a good time with the twins. You know, when I first started hanging out with them, I couldn't tell the difference between them. And sometimes I would call Victoria Christine and call Christine Victoria. And there's kind of this little joke now. We've got Christine here and
Victoria.
I mean, Victoria, I know.
We're going home. You don't even know our names.
Bye. Will. Go.
I'm just kidding.
I knew which one you were. You can tell, come on. I just like to get smacked in the face. Victoria! See, Christine smacks a lot harder than
I was
Victoria
trying to be
does.
nice.
And so I have Christine here and Victoria. We went out, we tried to shoot some fish. We had a number of challenges today. This weekend. But we still had a good time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna come back next weekend. And you know, usually when you have a so-so weekend, the next weekend, it's even better. So, okay? Okay, high five. It's a double high five. Pretty comical, but it's definitely a good reason to make sure I've identified the right one before I called them. Those are my girls, man. Those are my new stars of my show. They're really good people. You know, I like to surround myself with good people. People that have great energy, they're kind, they're respectful, and they are like as good as they get as far as people in my book. So I'm really happy to have them on board. I really like having them around, and I know that they really appreciate me as well. And so we have a really good partnership with them. So you guys are gonna see a lot of them on this show. And they got a new YouTube channel, the Fisher Twins on YouTube. You're gonna be seeing me a lot on their channel. So they started it, got a couple videos up, but they're gonna start pumping out some stuff every week just like we are. So stay tuned for that.